Hello, hello, hello. Oh
Hello.
no.
Mhm.
I don't know what we're doing with our intros anymore, but hi on you Bi-Conics wrestling nerds out there. And welcome to another exciting episode of your Takedown Troupe reviews, your weekly TNA wrestling review team. I am one of your hosts, Mikey El Jefe himself. Joined with me is my Bi-Conics work husbando, if you will. I have lots of work husbands here because I work with a plethora of menses. A sentence that I should have thought about saying before I did, but it's too late now. Um, as you guys can see, unfortunately, our third co-host, Andrew, is still living his best life, busy in, tech week and getting ready for theater performances. So, but he will be back soon. He sends his regards and he's still watching the product along with us. So me and Will are going to hold down the fort once again this week, and we're going to bring you our perspective and our review for this week's episode of TNA Wrestling from Thursday, February 22nd, 2024. So this is the go home show before No Surrender, which at the time of this recording has already finished up. So me and Will have things to do tomorrow on top of everything else we already do, because we got to find time to watch it. But shameless plug, me and Will are going to be reviewing this pay-per-view Sunday evening live. So make sure that you watch this and then you can come hang out with us on Sunday. But with that out of the way, let's just jump into it. We opened up TNA Wrestling this week. Chris Sabin versus Jason Hotch of the Good Hands. This match came about because Chris Sabin is tired of Mustafa Ali having fanboys. And we reiterated this last week that still my favorite part that I've seen the last week or two, Chris Sabin punched a dude in the face. And that was intense.
Yep. I was like, oh, I guess this is where we're going with this now.
So I figure, because I'm like, we're trying to keep Chris Sabin busy because Ali is not necessarily wrestling in the ring quite yet. He is making his debut in TNA in a wrestling ring at No Surrender. So, I mean, there's not really much, for me personally, there's not really much to say with this match. I thought it just continued to serve the purpose. It gave Sabin a win. We're just kind of keeping Sabin busy until we get to No Surrender, which I was like, okay, let's see where this match goes. And I thought it was okay. I don't think it was inherently bad, but I was just like, it just serves the purpose to get Chris Sabin another win and to keep him busy as we're getting ready for No Surrender.
Yeah, agreed. I was telling you, I was like, I felt like I've seen this match before. So I was like, okay. I mean, it was good. I mean, I didn't have any complaints about it. It was just, it is literally just we need to keep him busy. So let's do this match. And it's like, okay. And that's kind of what it felt like. Like, it was a match to have a match.
Which isn't necessarily bad, but I was like, okay, that's cool. So, yeah, Chris Sabin picks up the win here. And then we immediately jump into a Mustafa Ali promo.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep saying this until the wheels fall off. I am so happy to see him back on my TV screen.
Oh, I know.
We were robbed, but that's okay.
We were. We absolutely were.
I'm not bitter about it. I don't know what you're talking about.
Not at all. I am not bitter at all.
Me neither. That's crazy. No, but I really enjoyed this promo from Mustafa Ali. It's still the presidential candidate, if you know, promo, where he's like, Chris Sabin is 10-time champion. And then he got creative with his shade. He's just like, but even though Chris Sabin has won this title 10 times, that means that he also lost this title 9 times. And I'm just like, well, damn. I mean, that's factually correct. That's kind of shady, but not really. But it kind of is. I love how he's actually using political smear tactics in these promos. He's like, let me give a compliment that's really backhandy, but also it's not offensive to say.
No, I know.
But Ali promises that he will be the leader that TNA and the X Division needs. that he is Mustafa Ali. He approves this message. I am so ready to watch this match at No Surrender. I cannot wait.
I agree. I can't wait. I can't wait to see this match between them.
And hopefully our predictions come true because I want Ali to win so
Me
bad.
Too. Me too.
I love Chris Sabin, but I feel that Ali has the potential to have some fun while he's here in TNA for the next month or so.
I can't wait for it. That's gonna be fun.
I can't either.
I think it's gonna be really good.
Right. So, while not necessarily happened on the show, I wanted to take a quick pit stop real quick. And because I forgot, I wrote this in my notes on the sidebar, so I don't know where to put this, but we're going to do this now. Because we're talking about former WWE folks with Ali coming to TNA, I would like to take the time to congratulate Nic Nemeth, who is your new New Japan Global Champion, beating David Finlay over the last 24 hours. And he is now a champion in New Japan. So I was just like, you go, Nick. I'm so proud of you.
Yay.
So he has a championship in New Japan, which is crazy because that's the big Japanese promotion. So I'm interested to see, him holding this title while he's also in TNA, which is also really fun to watch. I cannot wait, but wanted to take the time to congratulate Nic Nemeth because he is our TNA boy here. Yep. And good on him. He's doing the damn thing after being released from another company.
That's awesome.
It really is. So now, back to our regular scheduled programming. So after we get the promo from Ali, we then have some back-to-back segments. First, we have a promo from the System. They're talking about the main event tonight, but then they're also looking ahead towards No Surrender and how they're going to destroy Alex Shelley, which then prompts our favorite on-screen manager character, Santino Marella, to come in and basically tell them, it's like, even though Moose, your match with Alex Shelley might be no surrender / no DQ, but to make sure that no shenanigans happen, if the System puts their hands on Alex Shelley, Moose will lose his title, but then it also is the same thing. If Alex Shelley's peoples, Santino's words, not mine, put their hands on Moose, then Alex Shelley will lose the match and he will not get a chance to win that title. So I'm hearing Santino say this, and then I'm thinking to myself, we know that's not going to happen.
Yeah, no.
Something always goes down. They're like, nobody is going to be allowed to touch. I'm like, bullshit, nobody. What's probably going to end up happening is that the System and the intergalactic time splitters are going to end up fighting each other, but not touching Moose or Shelley, but they're going to be out there and fight outside the ring.
Which would be great.
Oh, that'd be hilarious. I think it'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
So from here, we get Chris Sabin, who's walking through a door after his match, and he talks about how he's going to continue to do what he needs to. He's tired of Ali cutting these promos. He's tired of Ali having these fanboys like the Good Hands. And so he literally ends his promo by saying, he's like, I'm coming after you, bitch. I was like, well, damn, Chris Sabin. Kind of naughty cursing, sir. I was like, you don't normally curse. It was kind of weird to hear him say that. I was like,
oh, I know.
Sir, I need you to have several seats. I don't know what's going down with you, but I also love that as Chris Sabin's walking out, we see a poster for Ali in the background.
Yeah, that was funny.
This is it's so good.
Yeah, I love it. I can't wait for the pay-per-view.
I know. I was like, that's not.
I'm super excited.
I know. I'm just like, I was so tempted before recording. I'm like, I have some time. Do I want to watch No Surrender? No. I'm going to wait till tomorrow. And I'm staying off the internet. And Andrew has promised me he's not going to spoil anything for me or you. So we're good. So from here, we enter our next match. This is our this is squash match number 1. We get a second one later in the evening, which I thought was so much better than this one. But we have Simon Gotch taking on local talent Jack Price. Josh Alexander comes out for commentary on this one. They have a no touch clause, so Simon and Josh can't fight each other until No Surrender. which probably stemmed from them beating the brakes off each other as the camera faded from Soundcheck on Alan Angel's show last week. If this is how we're going to use the talk show, I'm here for it. But I thought this match was okay. It got over that Simon Gotch is a pretty good, decent wrestler. By the way, I loved his mask that he came out with. Really creative. But I thought the match was okay.
It was all right. It served its purpose, which was to showcase Gotch. I mean, honestly, I was like, okay, yeah, this is cool. I mean, yeah, it showed us that he's good at what he does. Poor local talent, but I was like, oh, okay, cool. Which I love when they do that. I love when they bring in local talent. But I mean, this match, it was okay. It was good. But again, like I said, it did what it was meant to do. It served its purpose.
It did. What I did like, though, is after the match, I love the intense stare down between Josh and Simon afterwards. I was like, this match smells of money. And I was like, this is about to be a money-making match.
Mm-hmm.
It's really weird because I'm going to be saying that this whole entire show. While the show itself is not necessarily the worst thing I've seen, a lot of it is to set up for No Surrender and what's to come after it. But I really enjoyed the bits and pieces we're getting. It was like, all right, just to remind you, Josh and Simon are going to kill each other at No Surrender. And y'all have a front row seat to this if you watch the pay-per-view.
Right.
But speaking of people that we're going to see at the pay-per-view, GYV cut this very scathing promo, and they promised to beat the living tar out of ABC. And this makes me super excited for this final match in their best of 3 series with ABC. Oh my gosh, this match, they're like, we're going to break your arm. We're going to dismantle you. We're going to take those titles from you. And I was just like, I swear to all things that are good in professional wrestling, I am rooting for I was already rooting for GYV to win this thing, but now I may or may not throw expletives at my television if they don't win at No Surrender now.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree.
But it was really weird because we get this from GYV, but we got nothing from ABC this episode.
Nothing.
Which makes me worried. I was like, okay.
I know. I'm like, what does that mean?
I was like, honestly, even though I picked GYV, I'm gonna be honest, I still don't know who's gonna walk away with the titles in this one because literally it can go either way.
Yeah.
And while I am rooting for GYV, I don't hate ABC, but I want to see something new for the division. But all I know is I'm gonna get a stellar match out of these two teams, and I'm here for it.
Yeah. Agreed. Absolutely agreed.
Yep. So we got a quick recap of everything that's happening with Con and PCO. Which is weirdly another match I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, me too.
I'm looking forward to every single match we're getting at No Surrender, if I'm being completely honest.
I am too.
So this is going to be great. So we get a recap leading up to why we're getting Con versus PCO at No Surrender. Then, this is where I was talking to Will before we started the review, that I was going to wait to tell him my match of the night, and we finally got here. For me personally, my most funnest match for me and the one that I enjoyed the most tonight was Steve Macklin versus British Daddy himself, Trent Seven. Mm-hmm. The reason this is my match of the night is the chops. The freaking chops from Trent Seven. I was like, he just slapped Macklin all over the dang place. I was just like,
I agree.
This was the British wrestling that I wanted from Trent Seven for so long. I'm so happy that TNA is getting British wrestling because this match hit a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. And Macklin was a champ here because he leaned in and he took those slaps to the chest like they weren't anything.
Yeah.
I was like, Macklin, do you secretly like getting hit? Like, what's happening here?
Right. And this is, and here's, I love this match. I thought this match was great. And like I said, it was this one and another one that if I was to pick a match of the night, it'd be one of those two. But I didn't, believe it or not, I didn't pick a match of the night for this episode. Nothing grabbed me. But And I love this match, but here's my flaw with this match. The Rascals. It's like anytime you have the Rascals involved, you know what's going to happen. So there was no surprise. I wasn't surprised that Macklin won this match because of the Rascals interfering. I wasn't surprised, and I hate that. That's what I hate about this. Is it's like they use the Rascals as a plot device, and I'm just like, I'm getting tired of the plot device. So I enjoyed this match. I think this is probably one of the stronger matches of the night. But I was just like, oh, the Rascals. Okay, well, we know who's going to win this match. And sure enough. And I can tell you now, I love Trent Seven and Mike Bailey. They're two of my favorites right now.
I'm happy that we finally get Speedball Mountain.
Me too. I love this team up. I think this is a great team up. I like their dynamic together. The whole 9 yards. And we get a little bit of that later on too. Which is great. So, but yeah, I really like this match. To me, it was super predictable. It was super predictable.
That's very, very fair.
And I hate that. And that may just be me and my brain, which is very possible. And I hate that basically my brain spoils it for me. And I love, and like all the moves were amazing. I mean, it was great. I mean, they all had some stellar things. Yeah, the slaps were just like, you could hear them echoing in the building. And it just literally, the minute the Rascals walked in the room, I was like, well, okay, there goes this match. There goes the neighborhood. Like, and I don't know, and I just hate it. I hate that it spoils it for me. I hate that. I hate it so much. And and again, I don't dislike the Rascals. I understand the Rascals. I know what they are. I know where I stand with them, so to speak. But it's just like, but they're a plot device that's predictable now. Mm-hmm. I mean, it is. And I'm talking story now. I'm not talking about the actual logistics in the match and all that, because the match was great. But the story-wise, it's like the Rascals are a plot device. That's what they are now. That's all they are. Bring the Rascals in when you want shenanigans to happen. And I'm just like, okay, can we see something new from the Rascals? Can we see them, like, I don't know, not do shenanigans and actually win a match without cheating? Or whatever. I don't know. I just want to see something new. I just want to see something new. That's it. I'm in a very, very, very dark headspace these days, so I want something new. I want something new.
I mean, new. That is a very valid opinion and very valid good point on this too. I can see where you're coming from for sure. And I kind of agree to a certain extent with the Rascals, but I'm not as bothered by it because, and we could just throw this in here since we're talking about Speedball Mountain, because later in the evening we get a backstage segment from both of them, where they pretty much kind of reiterate the same thing that you just said. They're tired of the Rascals getting involved in everything, so Speedball Mountain invites the Rascals to come to No Surrender and meet them at the peak so they can fight each other, which then we get confirmation via social media after the episode goes off the air that, on the countdown show for No Surrender, it's going to be Speedball Mountain versus the Rascals, which I'm excited for.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
It looks to be a good, fun match.
Yeah, as long as they understand the Rascals will cheat.
Yes, be smart.
That's my other thing. It's like suddenly all the wrestlers who fight those Rascals, suddenly they go stupid. I mean, it's like, oh yeah, they'll fight fair. No, they won't. They will absolutely not fight fair. And the only person who has ever, that I have seen in the time that I've been watching, the only person who has ever basically wrestled with the knowledge that the Rascals cheat was, I think it was Rick Swann.
Rick Swann, yeah.
He was, because when the Rascals brought out the spray paint, he was like, nope. He's like, I saw that shit coming. It's like, yes, he knows that the Rascals, they cheat. They do everything they can, and it's just, but everybody else who wrestles them, for some random reason, they just forget, and they fight them like honorable wrestlers, and it's like they're gonna cheat. Come on, they're called the Rascals. Come on, it's in the name. So anyway, I just want to see something new. That's it. That's all I'm asking. Give me something different. We get it. You're Rascals. Can we, I don't know, be fluffy kittens for a while? I don't know, something. You know, feed the hungry and the homeless. I don't know, something. Just give me something new. That's all I'm asking.
That is very fair. Nothing here. I was like, moving on. Just kidding.
Yeah, it's like, thank you for your opinion. Moving on.
It's like, you're wrong. No, just kidding. No, in all seriousness, though, it's no secret that here at the Bi-Conics, the internet and the rest of the boys have given me the title of El Jefe, but they also give me the nickname of the Ball of Sunshine, because I try to be very optimistic and very positive when it comes to my viewpoint on wrestling. Though I feel that if I don't like something, you're going to hear about it, as you have seen me multiple times complain about certain things where I go off. It's a lot of fun. I don't think I have yet to go off here on TNA, because for the most part, I enjoy TNA. This is where I find my zen. But I will admit, depending on where we go in the next couple of months, you might be seeing Spicy Mikey come out more and be yelling at the sky.
Yeah.
So, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Speaking of TED Talks, and people talking, we go to backstage where Giselle Shaw does this really cool promo. I loved it a lot. It was short, sweet, to the point. She's like, I got rid of Jay Vidal. I got rid of Savannah Evans. I am on my own, and I'm here to do my thing. And then, of course, one of my favorite people comes in Gail Kim. She comes to Giselle, and she's like, Giselle, I'm so happy you listened to my advice, but maybe the execution could have used some work, because this is not professional. And I actually kind of like Giselle turned to Kim as just like, look, I'm going after Jordan. I'm going to take that title from her. I'd be damned if I'm professional or not. And walks out of the shot, to end this promo. And I was just like, Giselle, you're going to lose that no surrender, but it's still good.
I agree.
I was like, yes.
Agreed.
I think the only critique I've had, I think the match at no surrender between Jordan and Giselle is going to be great. But I feel like it's been so one-sided, because Giselle has been beating up Jordan for the last couple of weeks. And I was just like, it is so one-sided. Giselle's going to lose to Jordan. Yeah. And so I guess we're waiting until no surrender for Jordan to get back at Giselle. But I was just like, it's been so one-sided.
It has been. Jordan's been very quiet.
Now, obviously, I got to see the match at no surrender, because if she goes balls to the wall crazy, I was like, okay, the quietness worked for me in this case, because Jordan's going to be like, I'm not going to fight you now. But you best believe in no surrender. You're walking out of here on a stretcher.
Yeah. I don't know. I just, I agree. Totally agree. Something she needs, because she's been very quiet, and I'm like, I kind of wonder why she hasn't spoken out. Especially with, because Giselle has been talking some serious shit for the last few weeks. I mean, seriously.
It's been so focused on her. I was like, I forgot Jordan is. I feel like Jordan has been like she's like a secondary passenger in this feud.
Seriously, she's like, I don't know why I'm here.
It's like, I have this title, I'm gonna fight Giselle, and that's pretty much her motivation for this, which I'm like, cool.
And Giselle has just made it so personal,
which I like, and I'm okay with. I just wish Jordan reciprocated that personalness that Giselle is bringing into this feud. And I'm not saying it's Jordan's fault.
Well, maybe Jordan doesn't think that she's a threat.
Right. Actually, I would kind of like that it comes out later. She's just like, yeah, I knew I beat Giselle. I was like, she's cool and everything, but yeah, girl, no.
Yeah, girl, no.
Girl, no. I was just like, I'm okay with that, so.
Or maybe she's seething in silence. And so when we get to No Surrender, because
she's gonna bring it 110%.
And like
I was like,
bulldozer.
I'm be like, I think I just witnessed manslaughter on my TV
screen. Exactly.
She needs some milk. I've spent way too much time on the internet.
Yeah, that's okay.
It's all good. So I'm excited for Jordan versus Giselle. I love seeing Gail Kim as a more on-screen figure too, which I really love to see. Give me more Gail. I'm never going to complain.
Yeah, that
was
nice.
This was a really good segment. And so we already talked Speedball Mountain. They're fighting the Rascals on the countdown to No Surrender, which then leads into an in-ring portion plus a match itself. So Eric Young coming out in his Dr. Doom cosplay, or if you are a rap fan, he comes out, in his MF Doom fanboy mask, which is really great. I love it either way. And he's like, last week he said that he wants Frankie Kazarian to come to the ring and so they could talk and settle this like men. What Eric forgot to tell us last week is that when he means by we'll settle this like men, he's like, I'm gonna beat a bitch's ass. Like,
right.
Eric Young's dressed in his ring gear. I was like, oh, so that's what he means by talk. He wants to beat Frankie Kazarian's ass. I was like, who? He wants
to talk to him.
He's like, I will talk with my fists.
Yep, exactly. I'll let my moves do the talking for me.
Which I love. He's just like, oh, so this is what he meant by talk. He's gonna beat Frankie Kazarian to the pulp. He's gonna give him the 10-piece combo.
Yeah, he's about to whoop your ass.
But Frankie was not playing because he comes out and he is not dressed in his ring gear. He's dressed in his regular clothes and he pulls out a chair and then he sits like such a tool, which I was here for.
I loved it.
This is so good. And then Frankie basically tells Eric, he's like, yeah, no, I know what you meant. I'm not about to fight you. So, I'm going to dictate the terms of this. But you will have a match tonight because me and you have been in this business for long enough that we all have made enemies and we have ghosts that we still have to, take care of. And I invited one of those ghosts to face you tonight so we can figure it out, which then prompts the music and the Titantron to play for Eric Young's opponents tonight, his former Sanity member, teammate from WWE/NXT all those years ago, Big Damo. I was just like, Big Damo is correct.
Yeah, jeez Louise.
I was like, that is a brick house right there.
Seriously. Big being the operative word.
Yep, so Big Damo and Eric Young proceed to have a match, and this match also slapped. I liked this match a lot, too. I was like, I miss Big Damo on my TV screen.
This was my other match. I thought this was so good. This match was so good. And I like Eric Young a lot. Like, I really like him more than I thought I was going to. Because when he first came in, I was like, okay. I mean, he's good, but I was just like, I wasn't connecting to the character, And then after the brutal betrayal, and then I was kind of like, oh, okay. And then I was watching him, listening to him talk, and then I was like, oh, okay. I kind of like you now. I'm Team Eric Young now. And I thought this was such a beautiful bad guy move. It was so great. I was just like, oh. I didn't recognize Frankie when he first came out because he was dressed in his normal street clothes. I was like,
Frankie, are you about to go perform at the local coffee shop? Like, what's happening?
I know,
here?
Seriously.
He's giving me like early 2000 rom-com,
yeah,
vibes.
Totally.
I was just like, what is happening?
Totally. And then he was like, oh no, you're not going to fight me, but you are going to fight someone. And then he said who he was going to fight, and I was like, okay, I don't know. I didn't know this guy, but he walked out, and I was like, Jesus criminy.
That is a brick house walking.
That is a big dude. I mean, a big, massive man. And
a lot of meat.
Yeah. And I was like, ooh, Eric Young's got to fight. Of course, I'm thinking Eric's going to win this match because these matches are leading to him fighting Frankie, obviously. So it was just like, I loved that Frankie's plan didn't go according to plan. You know, I really think he thought he would bring Damo into this and kind of wipe Eric Young across the ring,
mop him up and down the ring.
And even though yes, that did happen, it's like there was that one time like literally Damo like caught him in the air or something, like swatted him.
That was
intense. That was like wow. But then like Young, he finished it out with a pile driver, man. I was like, damn. I'm like, you take all of that weight. and
then some.
Yeah, and then some. Yeah, and it was
like, holy
crazy.
I was like, I forgot how much stamina Eric Young truly has. I was just like, and the power in that tiny, I don't even want to say tiny little body because he's built bigger than my face. Like
compared to Damo, holy shit.
I mean, that's very fair. Damo is a brick wall, whereas Eric Young is like a twig.
Yeah.
It's intense. But as you said, Eric Young picks up the win with a pile driver, which was so incredibly fun to watch that move.
It was. That was crazy.
And then Eric Young gets on the mic and says, look, Frankie, we can keep going back and forth on this, but I'm just letting you know, he turns into Liam Neeson. I have a certain set of skills. I will find you, hurt you.
Yep.
And essentially, this leads into the announcement that at No Surrender, a new match added to the card. Thanks a lot. You announced this match days after we do our predictions video. How dare you?
I know.
So it's going to be Eric Young versus Frankie Kazarian. It was like, oh, baller. We don't have to wait this long. But then an important stipulation is added to this match because it's going to be Eric Young versus Frankie Kazarian. And the winner will get the opportunity to fight for the TNA World Championship, so Moose's title, at the next pay-per-view, which is Sacrifice. So this is some big stakes because the winner's going to go on to Sacrifice to face for that title, which I was just like, oh, okay, cool. I'm excited, but I was just like, is this how we're going to get here, though?
Mm-hmm. That's how we're
getting there. Then I thought about it. I was like, well, okay, so after No Surrender, we only have like 2 weeks until Sacrifice. It's one of those quick turnarounds. And, you know, me, Andrew, and Will have already discussed this on other episodes, how much we hate some of these quick build pay-per-views where we only get like a week or two between some of these. So I'm like, okay, I'm not as mad. Whoever wins this is probably just a placeholder for Moose until we can figure out the real feud to build toward Rebellion, which is, you know, April 20th. Also, TNA, thank you for not putting your pay-per-view during WrestleMania weekend, because between the NXT pay-per-view, the 2 nights of WrestleMania, and the Ring of Honor pay-per-view happening the Friday before, too.
Oh, Jesus.
I appreciate you not throwing everything at the same weekend, because I was going to cry. But I'm excited. So we'll see who ends up coming out on top at No Surrender, because then they're going to go on to Sacrifice to fight for that title.
Yep.
So then really quickly, we get a backstage promo of somebody who I have missed on my TV screen. I was like, it's our girl Tasha Steelz, the Boricua badass herself.
Yep.
You know, and she cuts this promo because she's like, look, Zaya, me and you are one-on-one. So we're going to have this rubber match, but I'm going to let you know, I'm going to whoop your butt like I've done all the other women on this roster here. So be ready. I was like, cool. So we're getting one more match between Tasha and Zaya, and this is going to be the rubber match. So we're going to see who ends up on top with the victory here. So I'm excited. This is going to be fun.
I agree.
Speaking of things that were fun, we go back to our, what I call the unintentional lesbians of TNA.
Oh, yeah.
Jodi Threat and Dani Luna. I was like, y'all are unintentionally lesbian. I'm kind of here for it. Especially Jodi Threat. You are like kind of butch lesbian, but not really. I love these girls so much. I'm actually happy that they've been put together as a tag team because there's such a weird dynamic between them. I kind of like it.
Yeah.
But basically, this promo sets up that Jodi and Dani are going to be watching the match between Decay and MK Ultra closely at No Surrender, which means to tell me it's like, oh, Jodi and Dani are going to be next in line for these tag titles, which I'm here for.
Yeah, agreed.
Listen, if it was anything between Jodi versus Masha and Killer Kelly versus Dani Luna, which we got last week. I am here for an MK Ultra and Dani and Jodi threat feud. Like, I'm here for this.
I agree.
So good. I love these girls so much, and I'm happy that we're expanding the Knockouts tag team division because we desperately need it right now. Because right now it's just MK Ultra and DK.
Oh, I know.
But I'm excited for that match. And then the world has been waiting. We finally got the in-ring debut by Elegance.
Oh, it was so funny.
I love how they're purposely misannouncing the name. It's a Chevalier, but it's like the Chevalier. Yeah. I was like, what is happening here?
Oh my God, I know.
I was like, it's so camp. I loved it. Ash by Elegance. This was also another squash match, but this was the better of the two because this match ruled. I was like, Savannah Thorne got some offense in, but Ash by Elegance, I loved you so much. I love the ad lib she did when she was yelling to you are very disrespectful. It was very rude. I was like, what is happening?
I know. Oh my God, that was so funny.
Her Chevalier is such an additional character too. I love the addition that he brings to this whole thing. Like, I mean, the match itself was nothing to write home about, but Ash by Elegance shows off her athletic prowess. She picks up the win here. What I even love too is that, you know, we cut back to commentary team who are supposed to do the bumpers and stuff like that. And the Chevalier comes back out. He's just like, one more thing. Ash by Elegance has left the building. Have a good to the rest of the show. Bye. I was and then they cut back to commentary team and Tom Hannafin and Matthew Raywall just look at them with their mouths up and they're like, that just happened. Yep, it sure did.
Oh my God, it was so good. And I love everything about this. I really do. And I didn't know if I was going to like it, actually. You know, I was like, okay, you know, the promos were great. You know, all the setting her up for her in-ring return, blah, blah, blah. And I was thinking, oh, these are really cool, but is it going to be all hype and no substance, basically? I was like, is this what it's going to be? Are we building this character that's just fluff, basically? And no, not at all. I was like, okay, welcome back. Welcome, girl. Welcome to the ring. Because she was pretty on fire. I was kind of impressed with it. This is a really enjoyable match. For a squash match. It really was enjoyable. And I will totally agree with you that this was the better of the two. For sure.
Oh, absolutely. Fabulous. It really, really was. And I'm excited to see more of Ash by Elegance in TNA now. And, you know, we shall see where this leads for her and, you know, what we're going to do with her. Then we get to our main event. This is a 6-man tag team match between the System, being represented by Brian Myers, Eddie Edwards, and your TNA World Champion Moose, taking on the team of Kevin Knight, KUSHIDA, and Alex Shelley. This match was given like 22 plus minutes. There was a lot of spots in this match that I really enjoyed, but overall I was just like, okay, we're continuing the story. All these people are going to be playing a part at No Surrender during Moose and, you know, Alex Shelley's match, and, you know, the System pick up the victory here, which kind of low key I'm kind of happy they did, because normally with heel factions, especially, like, my brain is trained and already used to that a new faction comes into a company and they make a new faction and then they're constantly on a losing streak all the time.
Yeah.
So it was kind of nice to see that the System pick up a victory here. I thought this match was a lot of fun, but it was also, in a weird way, paint by numbers, because I was like, I know what all 6 of these guys are capable of. And while I enjoyed the match, I'm going to be honest, after Moose retains against Alex Shelley, I'm ready for everybody to kind of find something different to do.
Yeah, me too. I agree with you. I felt, again, like the Macklin Rascals match, I felt this one was so predictable. You know, I didn't And I did not think, and you know, people out there may crucify me for this, but I don't think that Shelly, KUSHIDA, and Kevin Knight performed that well. Like, now Kevin Knight had some great moments. I had to give it to him. He had some right there towards the end. He had some really good moves. You know, of course, Shelly is Shelly, and we know what Shelly's capable of. We know KUSHIDA. We know what KUSHIDA's done. But for me, I think Kevin Knight was kind of shining on that team more so than the other two. But I was sort of disappointed in their performance. You know, I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, because like Moose and Eddie and oh my God, why do I always forget his
Brian?
name? Thank you. Jeez Louise. I keep wanting to call him Richard, and it's like, no, it's Brian. And
generic white guy named number 3.
Yeah, I'm just like, I don't know why. Sorry, Brian. Sorry about that. But I was just like, they're all powerhouses anyway. I mean, all 3 of them. They're just big dudes. Lots of power behind them, you know, and I thought they worked so much better together in this match than the other 3 did, and which is unusual because usually like Shelly and KUSHIDA, I know for sure I've seen them a couple of times together, and they work really well together. But I just felt like the 3 of them were kind of out of sync in this match. And I don't know. It was really weird. I was watching it and I was like, ooh, okay. And then I was like, okay. And then it started getting predictable. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, wow, Shelly, I'm a little surprised by your performance or lack thereof in this match. And I felt like KUSHIDA was sort of following suit with Shelly, but then Kevin Knight was just like on fire, man. At least that's how I felt with it. I mean, he was on fire, and I really was enjoying watching him. I think it was him when he was, I want to say it was Eddie that he did that flying. I don't know what it's called, but the one where he flew through the air and like hit him like in the face. Oh God, I don't know. And he did it to 2 people. I think it was Eddie and Brian. But he like hit one and then flew through the air and hit the other one. It was right towards the end of the match. But anyway, there was this really cool move that he did, and I was just like, oh wow, that's pretty neat. And he's spry too, man. I mean, he can move around. KUSHIDA can too. I mean, KUSHIDA's just like, you know, like a howler monkey. And he just, you know, he's like all over the place. But I mean, I don't know. It wasn't the match I was kind of hoping it would be. I was kind of thinking, honestly, going into it, I was like, oh, the main event's going to be my match of the night. Because just the setup of it, I was like, okay. And it was a good match. It just wasn't great, I guess. I don't know. I'm no expert. What do I know?
You're just some dude who reviews wrestling on a weekly basis. What do you know?
What the hell do I know?
How dare you? No, I'm just kidding. I know it sounds like we're taking a poo-poo all over this week's episode.
No, it was a good episode.
I thought there was some decent stuff here, but I'm going to be completely honest. I think my excitement for No Surrender and the match card that we have for that is kind of outweighing the go-home show, because I was like, okay, it's a go-home show. We're setting up everything that we got going on for No Surrender. And so I feel like let's just go straight into our ratings. So the system picked up the win, as we state. So, you know, looking at this as a whole, even though I'm going to grade this way, I mean, in no shape or form, I don't think it's a bad score, but I give this like a solid 7 out of 10 for me. I personally enjoyed it, but, you know, as a go-home show, I have to remember that this is not a tentpole go-home show. So, like, I'm excited for No Surrender, but not as much as I was super excited for the return of Hard to Kill, like when we got Hard to Kill in January, because we're barely in February, and Hard to Kill is still up there as my favorite pay-per-view of the year so far. We still got a whole year of content to go through. But I thought there were some fun matches. We're continuing builds to No Surrender. And we're teasing some stuff that's going to be happening post-surrender too. I don't think the show was bad. I still enjoyed it, but I was like, okay, I give this a solid 7 out of 10. It's pretty decent.
I agree. I'm right there with you. I put it at 7, maybe even 7.5. I mean, it was not a bad episode. You're right. I mean, it wasn't like a tent pole, go home, but I mean, it was. I mean, at least the episode was very focused on getting us to No Surrender. I mean, at least that was happening. So that's why I would say 7.75. At least they stayed on message and didn't kind of go all over the damn place. I mean, the squash matches, okay, those are fine, and they were both good. They were okay. The Ash by Elegance was better than the Gotch one, but I thought overall, that they led to No Surrender pretty well. They stayed on message. Some of the things jumped pretty quickly, but for the most part, they were on message, and that was important. Because we've seen some go home shows that were like all over the damn place, like squirrels put it together.
We're looking at you, Bound for Glory.
Yeah, my God.
That whole build, I was so. Look, we survived it, and in retrospect, Bound for Glory was top notch, and it was so good. But the build to Bound for Glory was total turd.
It was horrible.
It was all over the place. I was like,
what is happening right now? I was like,
then it ended up being my favorit pay-per-view in 2023.
Me too. I was so worried after watching that go home show. I was so worried that it was going to be a horrible pay-per-view. I literally was like, oh God, if this is what we have to look forward to, this is going to be horrendous. It's going to be a train wreck on top of a train wreck. And no, it wasn't. It was literally, it became one of my favorites too. It was like, if not my absolute favorite one of last year. I was just like, wow. Okay, so I guess don't judge that book by its cover, I guess.
It's like, sure.
I mean, the cover was rat's ass. But the interior, the body of the book was actually quite amazing.
It was heavenly.
It really was. It was so good. So, we shall see what this one goes.
We shall see as well. So, that is going to bring us to the end of this week's Takedown Troupe review. We will be back next week post, No Surrender, as we literally have a 2-week build to sacrifice. I hate these quick turnaround pay-per-views for TNA, but look, I'm here to support the talent. I'm here to support everything. And next week's going to be very interesting because it will be the first thing post-Scott D'Amore world. It's going to be very interesting to see what direction we head about it. But we still got one more stop in this Scott D'Amore era before we head into the new direction. And we will be back here live Sunday evening at 7 p.m. Pacific. Well, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 o'clock Central. You can calculate what that time zone change for you is. Like, it's late. I'm not doing all the math for you.
I know. You're adult.
But you can. But me and will be back to be covering No Surrender. But until then, you can check out all the other stuff we have here on the Bi-Conics YouTube channel. Follow us all over the social medias at BC WrestlePod. You can also take us on the go with you because you have audio versions of all these reviews now, which is a beautiful thing. And then, of course, if you want to see us live in person, we are going to be at our first convention at the New Jersey WrestleCon, May 18th and May 19th. Some of us Bi-Conics boys are all traveling to Middleton, New Jersey, and we're going to have a table. Come say hi. We'd love to talk with you. And, if you are a wrestler in any of these promotions and you happen to catch wind of our little podcast and reviews, also stop by and say hi. We would love to talk with you as well. But me and Will are going to get on out of here because we got a full weekend ahead of us. So until then, myself, Will, Andrew, and the rest of the Bi-Conics boys, take care of yourself, love one another, and as always, be Bi-Conic. All you guys, gals, non-binary pals, he, she, theys, and gays of the internet. We will see you next week And actually, we'll see you a lot sooner for the review of No Surrender on Sunday. But until then, adios.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another Vibe Tribe production. What's going to happen next time? Well, you're going to have to tune in to find out. But until then, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and as always, make sure that you keep the good times rolling. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.